Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are opening a powerful stack of sources concerning Nepal. Sources that really chart a tragic path from the euphoria of the 2008 Republic to this profound moment of reckoning in 2025.
It's a really stark story.
It is. We're deep diving into a crisis marked, dramatically by youth shot in the streets and the federal parliament building literally set on fire.
And it's a study in democratic failure, really. Our sources force us to look critically at why a decade of hope just culminated in total institutional collapse.
So what's our mission for you today?
Our mission is to unpack the systemic flaws in Nepal's 2015 constitution, what allowed the state to calcify into what our sources call a control state.
A control state. What does that mean exactly?
It's a centralized system designed basically to manage and, frankly, profit from its citizens rather than serve them. And crucially, we're also exploring the radical blueprint proposed by Dr. Baidya for a complete transformation into a service state.
Right, what he calls the Gen X Constitution. So the foundational question we're tackling here is pretty simple. Why did the original constitutional architecture systematically fail the people?
And what specific, foundational safeguards are now on the table to embed integrity and accountability deep into the nation's DNA?
Okay, let's start by unpacking the anatomy of this collapse.
Well, what's fascinating here is the sheer weight of frustration. The 2025 revolt wasn't some spontaneous uprising. The sources all describe it as the accumulated verdict of a generation.
A generation just sick of it all.
Sick of elite capture, sick of the endless political musical chairs, and deep, deep corruption that had become completely structural since 2015.
And the fuse that finally lit this tinderbox was, well, it was something entirely modern, something that hit young people right in the wallet.
The social media ban.
Exactly. On September 4th, 2025, the government just abruptly banned 26 major platforms. We're talking everything from Facebook and X to YouTube and Discord.
And the official pretext was, bureaucratic nonsense, digital tax compliance. But that didn't fool anyone.
No, because these platforms weren't just for fun, were they? They were economic lifelines.
Absolutely. You have youth unemployment hovering around 20%. Young people were relying heavily on digital entrepreneurship, e-commerce, and this is crucial, using these apps to coordinate remittances from family abroad.
So it was seen as this thoughtless, almost cruel act by a government that was just completely out of touch.
Totally disconnected. And when the protests started, the reaction was immediate and just devastating. Security forces opened fire.
And at least 19 protesters were killed, many of them students.
That bloodshed, which happened in the days leading up to September 9th, it just escalated the crisis beyond any point of return.
Which led to the storming of the parliament building.
Yes, and the fire. That wasn't just vandalism. It was a physical rejection of a political system that people felt was completely impervious to their demands.
That inferno really provides the context for the main analytical tool that we see in Dr. Baidya's work, the master-servant audit.
It's a simple but really powerful lens. For every single institution, you just ask one question. Does its structure protect citizens from power? Or does it protect power from citizens?
And when you apply that audit to the 2015 Constitution, what do you find?
You find massive, gaping structural defects. Let's start with what we can call the accountability deficit, the institutional design, where, and this is astonishing, the servants get to choose their own supervisor.
Okay, give us the prime example of that.
Look no further than the anti-corruption watchdog, the CIA. Its leadership is appointed by a constitutional council dominated by the top political leaders, the prime minister, opposition leaders.
The very people they're supposed to be investigating.
Absolutely. It's an immediate structural conflict of interest. It fails the master-servant audit on the very first pass.
And the sources are clear. This allows for systematic selective prosecution. It means the CIA chases the small fish, right? Petty bribery, minor officials.
While conveniently ignoring the big fish scandals that involve the very political elite who put them in their jobs, the system protects the powerful. It's built to do that.
And this politicization, it's replicated, maybe even worse, in the judiciary.
Oh, absolutely. The Judicial Council, which handles judge appointments, includes the law minister and a nominee of the prime minister. This political embedding institutionalized a practice called bagbanda.
Bagbanda, that basically means a political quota system?
That's a perfect way to put it. Judicial seats aren't decided on legal merit. They're just divvied up among the major parties based on loyalty.
So what's the concrete impact on you, the citizen, then?
The impact is profound. It means you can no longer trust the courts to be impartial when powerful interests are involved. It corrupts justice from the top down. This is why a whole generation felt the legal system was just another arm of the control state.
It's a critical failure of protecting citizens from power.
Right. And beyond that, the audit reveals the sovereignty deficit. This is where the masters, the people, are literally locked out of changing the system.
The clearest example being Article 274.
Yes. There is no provision at all for a citizen-initiated referendum. So if the political elites agree to maintain a corrupt system, citizens have no constitutional way to force a vote to change it. It completely violates the principle of popular sovereignty.
We also see this failure in the citizenship laws, Article 11. Despite all the promises of the new republic, the laws kept this profound gender bias.
It's much harder for a mother to pass on citizenship than a father. And what that means in real life is you get thousands of families in limbo. It contributes directly to the statelessness of children born to Nepali mothers.
So they can't access basic services, they can't vote.
They're rendered second-class citizens by their own constitution.
And finally, let's touch on the instability that seems woven into the very design of the state, this mixed electoral system.
The math of that system, combining first-past-the-post with proportional representation, it inherently prevents single-party majorities. It's designed to create fragmentation.
So you're forced into these perpetual, fragile coalition governments.
And their primary focus immediately becomes, well, not long-term policy, but short-term survival. Distributing patronage to keep the coalition from falling apart. That's the fuel for the elite musical chairs that drove the youth revolt.
Okay, so if the system is actually designed for fragmentation and chaos, how do you begin to fix it? That brings us to Dr. Baidya's blueprint for the service state. Let's start with Pillar 1. Institutionalizing fiduciary duty.
This is the big philosophical reset. It says constitutionally that public office is a fiduciary duty. It's a trust owed explicitly to the principal, who is the citizen. It flips the whole power dynamic.
And the enforcement mechanism for that.
It's a radical shift in transparency. Mandatory dual-stage asset disclosure.
What does that actually entail?
A full, detailed public disclosure of all your assets for you, your spouse, your dependents when you enter office. But the critical part, the real safeguard, is the exit disclosure.
Exit disclosure.
Submitted within 30 days of leaving office. And if you don't file it, that automatically triggers a full audit.
And this is where the real teeth of the proposal come in, the deterrent.
It has to have teeth. The audit period extends for 5 years after you leave office. Any finding of unaccountable gain results in immediate civil forfeiture of those assets and a lifetime ban from holding any public office.
A lifetime ban. That sounds extreme, doesn't it? I mean, couldn't a penalty that harsh discourage genuinely good, competent people who might have some wealth they earned legally from ever entering politics?
That's a vital question. But the blueprint argues that right now, the risk calculation for corruption is basically zero. It pays. This system is designed to de-risk public service for honest people.
How so?
If you can transparently account for your assets, the system protects you. If you can't, it says you forfeit your assets and your right to govern. It's an integrity compact meant to root out elite capture before it even starts.
Okay, that addresses the money. But Pillar 2 is about fixing the systems of coercion, justice, and security. How do we get independence there?
First, for the judiciary, you need to break that chain of political influence. The solution proposed is randomized benches.
Randomized benches. So it's like a blind assignment system for judges.
Exactly. Judges are assigned to cases randomly by an algorithm only after the case is admitted. It kills forum shopping.
Because politically connected people can't try to get their case in front of a friendly judge anymore.
It severs that link completely.
Yeah.
You have no idea who will hear your case, so judges are forced to rely on legal merit, not political favors.
And what about policing the police, especially after the state violence we saw?
That's the police of police, or POP, system.
Oh.
A new, autonomous, co-equal constitutional body.
Made up of whom?
Composed entirely of civilian experts, completely separate from the executive branch. The POP would have the exclusive authority to investigate and prosecute misconduct by law enforcement and public officials.
But wait, a new constitutional body. How do you stop that from being captured immediately, just like the CIA was?
That is the core challenge. The blueprint is very specific. The POP's budget and leadership appointments have to be insulated through a supermajority in the legislature, removing the prime minister's direct influence. It's designed to ensure civilian oversight is paramount.
Okay, finally, Pillar 3, constitutional fiscal honesty. The sources frame Nepal's unchecked debt what, around 43% of GDP as intergenerational theft.
That's exactly what it is. And to stop it, they propose the debt brake. It's essentially putting the nation's credit card in a constitutional lockbox.
So a balanced budget is required over the economic cycle.
Yes. And if you need to suspend it for a real emergency, you need a two-thirds supermajority in the legislature, and you have to publicly certify a detailed repayment plan. No more excuses becoming permanent deficits.
And the ultimate control goes back to the people, the citizen consent mechanism.
This might be the most democratic reform of all. If new borrowing goes over certain thresholds, say 1% of GDP in a year, it triggers a national referendum.
It literally transfers the key to the vault from politicians to citizens.
And it has to include a future tax burden impact statement.
So what does that statement show me as a voter?
It forces transparency. It shows you, if we borrow this money, here is the projected tax increase for your household in 10 years. It makes the future cost of today's spending completely visible.
So, to sum up this deep dive, we've traced the failure of an architecture designed to protect the powerful, and now we see this radical blueprint for a self-correcting system designed to deter corruption and rebuild trust.
I mean, if we connect this to the bigger picture, Nepal's democratic experiment failed because popular sovereignty wasn't structurally embedded in its daily operations. The 2015 Constitution was effectively a manual for exploitation.
And the Gen Z revolt was the violent proof of that.
It was.
The ultimate choice, then, for the nation isn't just about adopting a new text. It's about committing to this kind of continuous structural integrity. The powerful question the author leaves us with forces us all to confront this. If we refuse to build these new institutions now, like the POP system and the debt brake, what will we say to the next generation when they ask why nothing changed? And, why the system is still waiting for the next spark to ignite the next inferno?